The gods have spoken. The snake was among us. Who is it? There. Her. No, leave my mother alone. There he is, the boy. Catch him. He's the one. She's turning the village against us. But I have proof. Then it's time we show them the truth. In the heart of the forest, where truth once whispered through leaves, and lies danced with smoke, the village stood still. She was their light, their fear, their oracle. But on this night, as fire lit the sky, and secrets hung thick in the air, Maama stood not as a seer, but as a woman cornered, defiant, and ready to burn the silence away. And among the crowd, one boy, one voice, held the key to everything. The villagers of Omago gathered just before sunrise, their eyes wide with worry. The winds blew strange that morning, and even the birds refused to sing. Smoke rose in coils from the sacred shrine as Maama, the village oracle, stepped out slowly. She wore a long indigo wrapper, and her tall head wrap made her look taller than she was. Her eyes were dark, sharp, and deep, like she could see straight into your heart. People fell silent. Maama didn't speak at first. She stared into the fire, her lips moving without sound. Then she let out a low hum, one that made even the bravest hunter shiver. "Spirit has spoken," she said finally, her voice calm but powerful. "They are angry. The village is in danger." Gas filled the air. "The river gods is thirsty," Maama went on. "If we do not sacrifice a goat before the next full moon, our crops will die, and sickness will enter every home." She threw a handful of red dust into the fire. It burst into bright sparks. The villagers trembled. "But Maama," Obinna, a bold boy no older than 12, asked, "why are the gods always angry? We gave 3 chickens and 2 goats last time, and many other items previously." Maama's gaze snapped to him. "Do not question the gods, boy," she said, her eyes narrowing. They listen even now. Obinna looked down, but his mind was racing. Something didn't feel right. As the crowd began to murmur and scatter, Obinna's friend whispered, "You are always asking too many questions." Obinna watched Maama closely. She was gathering her things too quickly. And behind her, near the shrine's back door, he spotted something odd. Was that a bag of coin hidden under a cloth? That night, while the village made plans to find the goat, Obinna stayed awake. He peeked through a hole in his wall and saw a shadow moving behind the shrine. It was Maama. She wasn't in her oracle robe anymore. She wore a plain wrapper and held something under her arm. A sack. Obinna's heart thumped. He followed barefoot, staying low. Maama walked quickly, looking side to side, before disappearing behind the shrine's hidden door. Obinna pressed his ears against the wood. Voices, not prayers. Whispers, the click of metal. A man's voice, rough and unfamiliar. "We need more of the herbs by next week. The last batch sold fast. I told them it was for a cleansing ritual," Maama replied, her voice lower and colder than before. "They believe anything when you wear a head wrap and speak in riddles." Obinna's mouth dropped open. She was lying to the village. He backed away, his head spinning. The gods weren't speaking. Maama was. The next morning, Obinna could barely eat his yam porridge. His fingers trembled, and his eyes darted to Maama's hut across the clearing. Could he tell anyone what he heard? Would they even believe him? Maama stepped outside just then, her head wrap tied high, her eyes calm and unreadable. She looked like nothing had just happened. "Ah, children of Umago," she called sweetly. "Prepare for the spirit walk tonight. The gods demand silence and obedience." The villagers nodded, trusting her completely. But Obinna was done trusting. That night, instead of sleeping, he slipped out again, this time with a small wooden slingshot tucked in his waistband and a gourd of water. He crept behind the shrine and waited. After what felt like hours, the back door cracked open. Mama stepped out, holding a long rope in one hand. At the end of the rope was a huge black goat, its hooves thudding softly on the ground. She looked around, then leading it into the forest, away from the sacrifice ground. Obinna's eyes widened. He followed at a distance, his heart beat loud in his ears. Then crack, he stepped on a dry twig. Mama froze. "Who is there?" she snapped, turning quickly. Obinna ducked behind a tree, barely breathing. The goat grunted and tried to wander. But Mama yanked the rope sharply. "Behave, beast. You are not for the gods. You are for the market." Obinna's stomach turned. She wasn't just lying. She was selling the offering. He stayed hidden until she disappeared deeper into the woods. Then, quietly, he ran home, his chest burning. The truth was worse than he imagined. But who could he tell? The whole village worshipped Mama like she was the goddess herself. And if he made one wrong move, she might silence him forever. Obinna didn't sleep that night. He was just staring into the dark. "She's lying to all of us," he kept thinking, and I saw it with my own eyes. By morning, the village was buzzing. Mama had announced that the gods were pleased with the sacrifice and would now bless the land with rain. Old men danced, women clapped and sang. Only Obinna stood still. He watched as Mama walked through the crowd, smiling, blessing babies, shaking hands. "Such a holy woman," someone whispered near him. "May the gods keep her strong." Obinna wanted to scream. Instead, he slipped away again, back to the shrine. The back door was locked this time. He crouched and peeked through the cracks in the wall. The room inside was filled with strange things. Bags of dried herbs, wooden boxes marked with symbols he didn't recognize, and even huge bundles of money. Suddenly, he heard footsteps. He froze. The door opened from inside. Mama entered, but she wasn't alone. Beside her was a tall man in a dark robe. His face was hidden behind a wooden mask. Obinna pressed his eyes closer to the gaps in the wall. "They believe every word," Mama said. The spirit walk fooled them again. The masked man laughed, a deep, ugly sound. "We will send the goose tonight. That should keep our buyers happy." "I've already packed the herbs and the statue fragment," Mama replied, moving to the chest. "Tell him the spiritual cleansing kits are blessed by the gods." Obinna's jaw dropped. She was smuggling things out of the village. Statues, herbs, relics, and pretending they were part of her oracle duties. Mama turned suddenly. "I heard something," she said. The masked man looked towards the wall. Obinna ducked low and ran. He didn't stop until he reached his hut. His chest rose and fell. "She's dangerous, and now she knows someone is watching her." The next morning, Obinna kept his head low. He helped his mother sweep the yard and fetch water from the stream like usual. But inside, he was shaking. Every time he glanced up, he felt eyes on him. And every time Mama passed by, she paused, stared, smiled. "She knows," he thought. "She doesn't know it was me exactly, but she suspects someone." Later that afternoon, a strange man came into the village. He wore dark sunglasses and a city cap. People stared, curious. "Ah, a visitor," Mama said sweetly, appearing like smoke behind him. "You are most welcome. Come, let me show you the shrine." The man followed her without question. Obinna watched from behind a tree. He knew what this was. This wasn't a visitor. This was a buyer. That night, Obinna snuck out again. He tiptoed past the old well and stopped behind the shrine once more. The door was slightly open. Inside, the man from the city was speaking fast. "I will take all of it. The herbs, the figurines, and the charm beads. People are crazy about these stuffs right now." Mama chuckled. "Everything is ready. Tell your driver to wait by the mango tree. My boys will bring the goods." Obinna gasped quietly. Her boys? He leaned too far and accidentally knocked over a loose stone. Crash! Silence! Then, "Who is there?" Mama's voice rang like thunder. Obinna bolted. "Hey!" shouted someone inside. Footsteps thundered behind him. Someone was chasing him. He ran through the yam field, past the palm grove, and dove behind a log. He stayed there, trembling, as voices surged nearby. "Nothing here," one of the men said. "Maybe it was monkey," said another. Mama's voice cut through the dark. "It wasn't a monkey. Someone is spying, and I'll find them." Obinna lay in the mud, frozen. He knew now. She would do anything to protect her secret. Rain fell hard that night. Obinna sat shivering inside his hut. The sound of water pouring on the thatched roof. Thunder rolled above the village, loud and deep, like angry drums. But even louder was the storm in his chest. "She knows someone is spying. She almost caught me." He looked at his sister, Adeze, asleep beside him. He thought about waking her, telling her everything. But what if she told someone else? No, he thought. I need proof first. Something solid. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. 3 slow steps. Then silence. Obinna's heart skipped. He reached for the stick beside his mat and crept to the door. "Who is it?" he whispered. No answer. He opened the door just a little. No one. Only darkness and a small object on the ground. He picked it up. It was a cowrie shell, but not just any cowrie. This one had a single drop of red paint in the middle. His stomach flipped. That was Mama's symbol. She knows. The next morning, Mama stood at the village square. Her voice rang through the air. "Last night," she said calmly, "the gods came to me in a dream." The villagers grew quiet. They said there is a snake among us, someone unclean, someone who spies on the sacred. Gasps, murmurs. Obinna's knees turned to jelly. "If this snake does not reveal itself," she continued, her eyes scanning the crowd, "the gods will bring sickness and death to this land." Everyone began whispering and looking around. Obinna felt 100 eyes crawling on his back. She's turning them against each other, he realized, or worse, against me. That evening, he did something bold. He went to the one person in the village who had once doubted Mama, Elder Nnamdi. The old man lived alone near the edge of the forest. His face was carved with lines of wisdom and worry. Obinna told him everything. Nnamdi sat silently, eyes narrowing. "I warned them years ago," he said at last. "Her prophecies came too easy, her shrine too rich, but they called me bitter." Obinna leaned forward. Do you believe me? Nnamdi looked him in the eyes. I believe you, but truth is dangerous, child. And Maama is no ordinary lie. He reached into a box and pulled out something wrapped in cloth. A small wooden mask. Obinna's heart skipped. The same kind of mask the masked man had worn. Keep this, Nnamdi said. You will need more than courage to survive what's coming. Obinna kept the wooden mask hidden beneath his sleeping mat. He hadn't spoken a word to anyone in 2 days, not even Adaeze, not even his mother. All around him, the village has grown tense. Children whispered. Fires burned lower. Even the drums at night had gone silent. And Maama, she watched everything with a calm smile. Then, one morning, she made an announcement. I will perform the cleansing ritual, she said in the village square, to force the gods to reveal the impure ones among us. People gasped. On the third night, I shall go into the spirit world. When I return, the snake will be named. Some villagers looked afraid, others excited. Obinna's hands were sweaty. 3 days, he thought. She's buying time. She's planning something. That evening, he met with the elder again. I have an idea, Obinna said, but it's risky. The old man listened closely. I need to get into the shrine, Obinna continued. While Maama is gone, I'll record what I find with my uncle's phone. He uses it to play music. Nnamdi scratched his beard. You will be caught. Not if I go through the back tunnel, Obinna said. The one near the termite mound. Nnamdi blinked. You know about that? Obinna nodded. I followed her there once. There is a hidden path. The elder sighed deeply. You are brave, boy. But if you fail, I won't, Obinna said, gripping the wooden mask. This time, I'll wear the mask. The third night arrived. Drums beat again. Maama stood at the center of the shrine, wrapped in white clothes, her face painted red and white. Her followers chanted around her, shaking calabash and burning incense. I call to the gods, she shouted. I enter the spirit realm now. She collapsed on the floor, trembling. People gasped and knelt. At the same moment, in the shadow behind the shrine, Obinna crawled through the termite tunnel. His heart pounded. Every sound seemed louder in the dark. He crept inside, pulled the wooden mask over his face, and entered the hidden chamber. Inside were crates, bundles wrapped in palm frond, stacks of money, and worse, sacred items from other villages, clearly stolen. He pulled out the phone and began to record. Suddenly, a whisper, footsteps, someone else was there. Obinna held his breath. A man stepped into the chamber. Tall, hooded, holding a torch. It wasn't Maama. It was one of her smugglers. Obinna ducked behind a crate. The man looked around, then left through another passage. Obinna exhaled. He had what he needed. But now, how will he escape? Obinna crawled back through the tunnel, heart thumping like a drum. The video on the phone was shaky, but it was proof, real proof. He hid it in the root of an iroko tree near the stream, just in case. As he reached the edge of the forest, he saw flames from afar. The ritual was still going on, but the chanting was louder now, more desperate. Something was wrong. He crept closer and ducked behind a large pot. Maama stood once more, her arms raised high. She looked angry. The gods have spoken, she cried. The snake walks among us. People gasped. She turned slowly and pointed towards the crowd, then towards Obinna's mother. A gasp ripped through the air. No! Obinna shouted before he could stop himself. Heads turned, eyes widened. There he is, someone yelled. The boy! Obinna ran. The crowd exploded. Hands reached for him. Voices shouted, but he slipped between bodies. Mama's voice cut through everything. Catch him! He's the one. He didn't stop running until he reached Elder Nnamdi's hut. The old man opened the door just as Obinna stumbled inside. She's blaming my mother, Obinna panted. She wants to turn the village against us. Nnamdi looked grave. We must act now. Together they went to the Iroko tree and retrieved the phone. By dawn, the elder called an emergency gathering, something only a respected elder could do. He stood in the square, voice steady, as the village gathered in confusion. I have something the gods never expected, he said, holding the phone. Then he played the video. Gasps, whispers, disbelief. The village watched in silence as the truth unfolded. The crates, the stolen sacred items, the smuggler, the hidden chamber. Mama pushed through the crowd. That's a lie, she screamed. Witchcraft! They have doctored the vision, but the people were no longer with her. Even her followers looked away. Then a voice shouted, check the shrine! They rushed to the hidden chamber. Everything was still there. The mask, the beads, the money. Silence fell. Mama's eyes turned cold. She ran, but the villagers moved faster. They caught her just before she reached the forest. This time, the rope around the goat's neck was around hers. Obinna stood in the square shaking. His mother hugged him tight, whispering, you saved us. Elder Nnamdi placed a hand on his shoulder. Sometimes, the smallest voice holds the loudest truth. And for the first time in years, the village slept without fear. Let's keep African stories alive. Like, comment, and share to pass this tale to the next generation.